difficult things happen. And it's just good for us to remember that for the most part, we are the product of the choices that we make. Good, bad, or indifferent. And that's what we're going to find here in the book of Genesis. In fact, we find that throughout the book of Genesis. We have a habit of putting on a pedestal all the people that we read about, almost all the people that we read about in the Bible. I hope Judas is not on a pedestal with you. But we tend to think and elevate all these people. When in reality, they're just like you and me, and they're shaped by the choices that they make. What do you mean by that, Pastor Dave? Well, Adam and Eve, remember them? Remember the choices that they made? They had how many things that they couldn't eat of in the garden? One. It's like someone saying to you, you can't have chocolate ice cream. Then what do you want? Chocolate ice cream. So they partook. Eve partook, shared with Adam. God came to rescue them, and Adam said, "The woman you gave me, it was her. I didn't make a choice. That's what happened." Here we have Cain and Abel, who over brothers, right? Just simply brothers. Just so I have this in my head. How many of you have siblings in your life? How many of you thought growing up that your parents loved your brother or sister more than you? How many of you knew your brother or sister, your parents loved your brother or sister more than you? How many of your parents told you they loved the brother and sister? Exactly. So Cain and Abel, what happens there? They got along fine, right? Until one killed the other. But then there's Noah, right? Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord, and he rescues the souls there, his family, and they come through the ark, and then he gets hammered. Afterwards, he grows a vine, gets drunk, and winds up exposing himself to one of his kids. Oh my goodness. Noah! Yeah, but then there's Abraham. Is there anybody better than Abraham? Wow. So Abraham gets called from Ur of the Chaldeans. It's where the Tigris and Euphrates flow south into the Persian Gulf. And he comes to the Promised Land. And things get rough in the Promised Land. So he did what everyone does. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. He went to Egypt. And when he goes down to Egypt, he says to his wife Sarah, "Hey, do me a solid. While we're here, say you're my sister so nobody hurts me because of you." Because she's beautiful. Wow. And then he actually does that twice, by the way. Does it a little bit later. But that's okay. We can overlook that. So then God says, "I'm going to make you a great nation." He says, "I don't got any kids." And Sarah, she's kind of old. And Sarah says, "Yeah, we got a problem here. So I have a servant girl, Hagar. Abraham, you'll have to sleep with her so that we can have children." And Abraham said, "I would never do that, Sarah." No. Abraham said, "A man's got to do what a man's got to do." And they had a child, Ishmael, right? Later on, Sarah conceives and they have a baby, Isaac. And Ishmael and Isaac, that didn't work out. But Isaac, he was a great guy, right? Except he learned the same thing, or he learned the lesson from his father Abraham. And when he went to a foreign land, he said to his wife Rebekah, "Hey, could you do me a solid? While we're here, you know what? Just call yourself my sister, okay? Because it's kind of just a little white lie, and I don't want to move." Well, Isaac has two sons, Jacob and Esau. But fortunately, he's married to an angel, Rebekah. Not so much. Two sons. What's their name? Jacob and Esau. And just so you know that favoritism just didn't happen in your household, Isaac likes Esau. Rebekah likes Jacob. So the two of them, Rebekah and Jacob, when Rebekah's taking the lead, they cheat Esau out of his inheritance. Twice. By lying to the old man Isaac who can hardly see. But they're heroes. That's all right. Jacob makes up for all of it. Jacob has to run away from Esau because Esau wants to kill him for taking his inheritance. So he winds up at Rachel's brother's house, Rebekah's brother's house, Laban, and there he sees this amazing woman, Rachel. And he serves Laban for 7 years. I don't know. She couldn't have been worth that. So that he can marry Rachel. But wait. Leah was the eldest in that family. Leah's name actually means cow eyes. Just so you know, in no language in the earth is the word cow eyes actually means hot. Well, but Laban's got to get her married off. So, on the wedding night, surprise, Jacob didn't marry Rachel, he married who? Cow eyes. Which begs the question, how drunk do you have to be on your wedding night that you don't know who you married? So Leah and Rachel then are this couple with Jacob. And they got along fine, except no. Leah can't have children, so she prays, God, please give me favor. No, Leah's at first. She has to, God, open my womb so Jacob will like me. So, 4 kids come out. Rachel's upset. I can't have kids. So she says, wait a second, I've got a handmaid. Jacob, you'll have to sleep with the handmaid in order for us to have kids. And Jacob said, no, I would not. No, he said, a man's got to do what a man's got to do. And it wasn't once. It was twice. It was, oh. And then Leah goes, wait, I can't have kids? Hey, come over here, Jacob. Hey, here's an idea. I have a handmaid. Why don't you sleep with my handmaid? And Jacob said together now, a man's got to do what a man's got to do. And before you know it, they've got like 10 kids. Finally, Rachel has a child, and his name is Joseph. Her last child is born, and his name is Benjamin, but in the Hebrew it means, via sorrow, because she actually dies. But then those 12 boys, they got along. Oh, wait. Joseph was a tattletale. So the boys went out to the field to work. And they took care of the sheep, and they grazed and everything else, but they weren't really industrious guys. So Joseph came back to his dad and said, hey, the boys aren't working the way they should. Which didn't make him the favorite. And then he had a little problem with boasting. He said, everybody's going to bow down to me. And then Jacob, knowing that favoritism would be a bad thing, bought Joseph, or made Joseph a coat of many colors so that he would be known as the favorite. So what did the brothers do? Joseph comes out to the field. They see him coming. They abuse him, throw him in a pit, and sell him into Egypt. Isn't our family lineage really cool? At the end of it all, Joseph said, you meant it evil for me, but God meant it for good. Choices. Difficult things happen. And it's just good for us to remember that for the most part,